Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so my hat looks kind of funny. Anyway, doesn't matter. Point is, I was going absolutely off earlier today. Don't take back nothing I said. Stand by all of it. I'm not sure what they were thinking in regards to running small ball, but we're going to figure it out if there's anything to see. But nevertheless, I'm not here to continue that conversation. I want to actually continue speaking about the OKC Thunder because I realized I ended the video without actually getting into some of the players that I wanted to really speak about. Very passionate, not very efficient. So here we go. Jalen Williams and Jalen Williams. Yes, two of them. Same name, different player, same draft year. This year, rookies. These are guys that are going to do a lot for their team if given minutes to do so. Jalen Williams, the small forward. I think he's Jay Williams. I'm not sure how they break up the names just yet. I'll be listening for that tonight and I'll get it right. But the small forward usually wears high socks. Dope player, one of my favorite young rookies in the game. Player who can really dribble the ball, pass, run like the wind, lay the ball up extremely well. All these different types of things that ultimately make him a dynamic wing player with length, rebounding, all that good stuff. Just a very dynamic and fun player to watch, especially in the mix with all these other young players. This is a guy who, if anything, I would imagine it's just going to only ascend into an all-star player with some of the things that he does naturally. Just basically a triple-double threat every night. So this is a guy that I know is going to give you a lot tonight, given the fact this game is in LA at Crypto.com Arena, from which I've been calling Staples all day. But nevertheless, I know he's going to want to show out tonight. So we're going to have to be very careful to not take our eyes off this player. He's been getting a lot of playing time as of late. And to be honest with you, I think he's about ready to break out. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a night he gets a triple-double or something of that nature, depending on how much usage he has. Obviously, we're talking about the other Jalen Williams as well. He doesn't get as many minutes. He hasn't had the same opportunities as of yet, but over the last several weeks, they've been working him into the equation. He's had some pretty big games for himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does well as well. Shot blocker, um, power forward player who can do some things above the rim, of course. I think he can shoot the ball a little bit as well. So I'll be looking to learn more about him. And, this is our first time seeing this team. Kind of strange, really, but we only see the Thunder 3 times this year. And I think we see them twice in March. So it's just a very strange way of putting this team on our schedule, just like we had with San Antonio, having played them 3 times in like the first month or something weird like that. But nevertheless, there are more players on this team that you have to consider. A guy by the name of Isaiah Joe is someone that you really, really want to pay attention to, coming off a pretty big game against the Warriors, I believe it was, and has had a pretty good run throughout the course of the last several games. So, if anything, I would say he's somebody that you definitely need to pay attention to and respect out there, because he's going to shoot the ball, and I would expect he's going to shoot it well, driving at the rim, things of that nature. A very dynamic player that comes off their bench. So, this is the thing about the Thunder. What I understand is a lot of the players coming off their bench are very talented. So no lead is safe, and if for some reason you've had success, it doesn't mean that they can't put a rotation down there to hurt you. That's what I know about this team. They're very versatile, and even though they have a superstar guy like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the majority of their players are cerebral passers, good open court players, guys that are long, can rebound the ball, players that can ultimately help one another if for some reason they get in foul trouble. A lot of depth on this team. You got a guy like Mike Muscala on this team who could stretch the floor for them. Um, you're talking about Terrence Mann, a player who's had several big games this year, and I've said I think this kid has all-star upside. I really do. Every time I see him play, it's like, how good is Terrence Mann? It's one of those type of situations. So as he continues to have big games scoring the ball, uh, he's going to start to play himself into a position to make some real money in this league. So keep an eye on him. This could also be a very big game for him. Anybody going into this building you expect wants to play well. So that's one of those situations where it's a no-brainer to keep an eye and a hand up around him. He's going to dance. He's going to do step back stuff like that. It's all in his wheelhouse. So we got to be careful with a player like that. Aaron Wiggins, another guy you want to be very careful with. You do not want to toy around with Aaron Wiggins because at the end of the day, he's going to be open based on other players being on the floor that are going to draw defenses away from him. He's a very good shooter. So he can do some things for himself. But if for some reason you think that the only thing you got to worry about is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you're going to find yourself getting beat by players like these guys, Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, and of course Terrence Mann. So it's going to be a scoring fest out there. This is a young team. The moment may be a little too big for them, but just like I said, with young teams a little earlier, they also don't really care about anything. They don't know nothing about winning. They don't know nothing about big moments. They're just playing basketball. So we need to understand that that's the playing field out there. And, be vets. Be vets about it. Play them accordingly. Make sure that they find themselves in positions to have to backpedal. That's what you want. You don't want to play any overtime game with any young teams. That's a bad thing for us. And we don't want to get overly caught up in shooting the ball because obviously we want LeBron James to score 36 tonight. But we can do it throughout the course of the game. He can do that slash into the bucket. We don't have to overly shoot the ball. And that's what we did in the last game that we didn't appreciate. Basically, 0 for 8, I believe it was, or 1 for 7 or something of that nature. It wasn't very good efficiency at all for the King shooting the ball. So, that New Orleans game, I don't think we really can say too much other than the way that we schemed put us at a disadvantage in that game. When you allow Brandon Ingram to have a ISO situation down the stretch of a basketball game where he gets to shoot over a guy like Patrick Beverley, you're really not actually scheming yourself into position to succeed, which is why I got so worked up in the previous video. In regards to these choosing to lose and why is this happening? Is it LeBron James being schemed against? Is it AD? What is it? Why is our team choosing to do things that deliberately don't work repeatedly for 2 seasons in a row, 3 seasons in a row in some cases? We just want to acknowledge that there's more to see, and in order for it to stop, changes need to be made, and it doesn't seem like people want to choose to make those changes, so it becomes a situation where we ask questions, why? And so that's really what we were doing there, and we got away from what the intended position was, which was to prepare our team for a victory, because at the end of the day, we're not really believing in the path to victory, which is what you're seeing here. When I think about what my instincts lead me to competitively, it's not about how we can win schematically. It's about how we can overcome the corruption against us so that we can win schematically. Because what you're doing in scheme isn't actually working. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, my mind like mine is going to, I don't know how else to win. And that's exactly what you're seeing. So as to which, naturally, I'd be telling you, okay, we need to beat this player and this player. We need to rebound like that. And then from there, like I normally would. Instead, my natural instincts in regards to winning is telling me to tell you, it's some bullcrap. We can't win because these guys aren't choosing to. And that's literally what's happening here. So I'm a matter-of-fact person. As you guys know, I am not the most normal of human beings. But what I am is someone who's driven by winning and somebody who is going to speak my mind, honestly. You know what I mean? Someone who's going to speculate at all times. And somebody who's going to be intend to prepare my team for what they're going to be seeing. And that doesn't waver. And that's why I wanted to come up here and make 3 videos, even though I messed up the first one, clicking on the thing. But nevertheless, I wanted to make as many videos as necessary for us to prepare, because that's what it's about. I think it's a purposeful mistake in a way, because no matter how many videos it takes for us to get it right, we need to get it right. If that means that we lose 1 million games in our past in a certain way and study that film over and over again until we get it right, we get it right. We don't find ourselves in a situation where we leave ourselves without enough. And that's what I would have done if I would have left the first video as the main video, if I would have let the second video as the main 2, and if I wouldn't have made a 3rd video here to actually prepare us for what we needed. Because there's 3 different conversations that need to be had. It's about fixing our mistakes like I did in the first video, not turning the ball over as much, the unforced ones, making free throws, not letting our ego and our the things that ultimately are side importance, different goals that we have, overwhelm what it is that we're ultimately trying to do, which is win, And so how many tries does it take? Does it matter? I don't know. I don't think it does, as long as we get it right and have it right when we need to. And that's in the playoffs. when we get to the play-in tournament situations. And that means we got to start winning now because we're nowhere near that. You see what I'm saying? So we got to start getting it right now. I couldn't leave y'all without an understanding that Jalen Williams was going to be out there, without saying that Wiggins was going to be out there. Just because I understand that we got a bigger fight against us doesn't mean I can't pay attention to detail. Just because I made the first mistake doesn't mean I can't come back and realize I made a second one the second time. And I have to do it again. And that's okay because you got to get it right. No matter how many tries. You got to get it right. And so that's what I'm saying to all of us, man. That's the example I'm trying to lead by in regards to what it is that I'm doing here. And all of this. All the method to the madness is this. The Lakers have been making mistakes. Instead of correcting them, they've been doubling down on those mistakes. Instead of coming back saying I'm flawed, they've been coming back telling people, you know what? This mistake was justifiable. And this is why, look at it for a long time. And my thing is, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that on this channel. What we're going to do is, if we make a mistake, we're going to come back and fix it. If we get sidetracked and lose our focus, we're going to come back and fix it. And we're going to make sure that everybody sees that process because it's okay. All of it. By example. Because it's not about focusing on what I did wrong. It's about getting it right. However many times it takes. And keeping your intention in mind. Even if you lose track, you get back on it. Even if you fall off the wagon, you jump back on it. And you certainly don't keep doing things that don't work over and over and over and over and over again. You don't do that. You don't put yourself in a position to where the things that you do not work. And you sit there looking stupid in front of everybody, doubling down on the yes it does, as it continues to fail for them to all see. And you want us to root for that. No, I can't root for that. I want to root for you to get out of here so we can get some winners in here. Then I can root for something I can believe in because at that point, we'll be winning. Or at least in a position to actually compete. Not sitting up here doubling down on loser stuff, doubling down on mistakes and acting as if they are going to fix themselves. No, you got to fix those mistakes. I need to fix these mistakes. I need to make this video to correct those mistakes and give you as much information as I can come up with this time. And if I miss out on some more, I might make a fourth video. But the point is, I'm not going to double down on the mistake by leaving something up there without completing it. And I'm not going to erase it because the purpose is to show you that it's fine to make mistakes. And I want the Lakers to see that example. It's fine to have made mistakes, but it's not fine to sit there and not clean up the mess. Let's clean up. Let's put ourselves in a position, an absolute position, to have success on the basketball floor. And if we can't do that, let's see the season through, whatever your little plan is, see it through, and then start the process of building something like that. That's all I'm saying. Let the next regime in and let them think about winning. If we can't think about winning, if we're not on what Kobe was about for real, if that's not really what we're about, then let's find some people who are. You know? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know, Kareem gave us so many moments where he hit shots, sky hooks over and over again for championships. You know what I mean? LeBron James is supposed to pass him up tonight. We're going to celebrate all of that. That's cool. But we do understand what it is that Kareem was doing down there. He was trying to win championships. Not necessarily anything else. And granted, it's a different world today. There's a lot more money involved. Maybe he would have been playing this game this way if it were that much money involved back then. Of course, he would have been playing this way. But he would have been in the same position to where he would not have had as much credence to his name as it pertains to his ability to dominate the field. Because at the end of the day, he would be yet another watered down celebrity going after the buck and not after the greatness. But then want to be compared to a great buck and Laker like Kareem. You know, it's just not, it's not fair. For whatever way you want to look at it, it's not an even playing field. So how can we compare? How can we say it is right to compare? And most importantly, don't we see where this is going to continue? Can't you see where it's headed from here because of this? It ain't good. And that's what I've been talking about. So let's get it right. We don't have to keep sitting here making mistakes and consider to see it's a mistake. That's a mistake. I see it's a mistake. And hopefully by way of handling my mistakes, everybody who's watching me will maybe Do some things differently. So I hope I'll do some things differently after seeing and making a video like this. So that's what it's about. So that's what I wanted to come here and do, man. You know, it's bigger than basketball, but it's not necessarily bigger than team. It's about the team, y'all. It's about the team, you know. And at the end of the day, it starts at the top, ends with the fans. And it's a new day in regards to us fans. We speaking up. We're carrying the torch just like we're supposed to. It ain't just about cheering in the stands. Yeah, nah, not anymore. Nah, you're gonna hear from us. And we're gonna push what it is that we've been taught. And we're gonna believe in what it is it takes to win. And it's not that we're afraid at all of what it takes to master the field we're in right now. That's another thing. It's like, yo, they mastered the field of yesterday. I don't think this field is too complicated to master for someone. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody can do it. Somebody can dominate this era. You know, it can be done if you remove the manipulation, that is. But in terms of basketball players, yeah, man, things can be done correctly. Things can be more focused than they are right now, and dudes can dominate from game to game to game to game if they have enough talent on the floor. If they have enough talent on the floor. And that's what it's about, man. So, however it takes to get to that point, that's what the Lakers or any other team should be about. Any team should be about. Any team. OKC too. You know what I mean? And they got a lot of talent, a lot of young talent. So you know what I mean? So I think they're in a position to do some great things themselves. So if we don't take them seriously, they will beat us. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. This team is good enough, strong enough, long enough, tall enough, good enough shooters, all of that, to put this team in a position to not necessarily enjoy the night. And that is not what this team wants. Not at all. So I think we should get focused, man. I think the team should get focused, stay focused, put themselves in a position to, guard the perimeter. That's what I would say with these type of players on the floor. And just know you're going to be defended too. I think they are going to be intentional, as I said in the other game, of making this a bad night for the Lakers while we're focused on other things. So that's what it is, man. Good luck to LeBron James. Can't wait to see him get past this. And I want to say something else. One of the reasons why I was going in the way that I was in the second video is because of what he said. Maybe it's me. When he said that made me go into a different space of wondering why it would be him. Just like I'm sure it did to him. That's where all that was inspired, truthfully. If anybody really wanted to know where the heck I was going with that or where it came from, it was that. I read into that a certain way. I mean, maybe it's me. I mean, damn, maybe I've made so many enemies all this time. Maybe I just was the king so long to now they just want to see me fall, man. Maybe they just want the king out. And that's what it comes down to. Who knows? I'm not in a position to even understand nothing at all, but that's there to see for me. When I tell you I read tea leaves, there's one. It's like, why in the hell does this team choose losing schemes? And I look at it and I say, he's on the floor while all this is happening. He's on the floor while all this is happening. He's on the floor while 4 players are 6'3". He cannot succeed. Why are we choosing this? He cannot succeed. And it starts dawning on me like, golly, this is that. This is where that second video came from today. It's been building up. And then when he said that, it was like, yep. That's a tea leaf. This could be that. Conspiracy, allegedly, whatever, man. I'm just a guy in his house. At the end of the day, I don't know nothing. But when I see people doing things that don't work over and over and over and over and over again, you can't tell me there's no reason to just start speculating all kinds of weird. You can't tell me it's not. And it's not like I'm pulling stuff out of my backside. I'm not. We're all looking at it. I just happen to see it a certain way. Whatever the case, what I also see is an opportunity for us to win a basketball game, and I hope I hope it ain't just about getting numbers, because we know how that gets us nowhere. We hate losing. We really do. At least most of us do. Whatever case, I'm looking forward to more of a trade than I am this basketball game. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I just want a trade to talk about. That'll snap me into some real focus when we have a move or two. You get us a Fred VanVleet and a Gary Trent Jr., we'll see a smile on my face. But then I'll realize that they'll probably just be in a scheme with small ball and situations if we don't choose schemes that look as if they may work, on paper. Like, yeah, that lines up properly. Let's do it. No. Instead of the stuff that we're doing, it does absolutely the opposite. So, yeah, man. OKC. I can hear the chant in my head. I'm glad this game's at home. We've had a lot of road games. I think that may have contributed to why we played so poorly and schemed so poorly in New Orleans. Couple that with the trade, looming stuff could distract us all. So I'd imagine that might play into a little bit of something, no doubt, but everybody's home now. So this is the big game where hopefully he can pass Kareem, and I think most people believe he'll probably do it tonight. I wouldn't ask him to force it. I don't think he'll have to. It's the king, man. So, yeah, that's what I'm expecting to see, man. He's going to pass that thing tonight. I think he's ready to get it over with. And so, if he gets into a nice little groove, a good rhythm, I think he'll be able to do it. And my concern is this, Darvin Ham. If for some reason he has 30 points, and we're up by, 25, and it's like 9 minutes to go in the game, I know you're going to leave him out there. But if you don't see a world where he turns an ankle or busts a hip or something in that 9-minute frame, then you're backing yourself into a corner. You got to be able to see that part coming, just like with AD. You got to see that. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, because I'm definitely hoping it does not. Obviously, knock on wood. But this is not one of those things where I'm just going to not even consider that. We need to always be wise about our players, essentially. Always. And if you're up by 1 million and it doesn't make any sense to play anybody, it really, really doesn't make any sense, because there's reasonable stuff. You know what I mean? If you're up by 10, 12, it's not. But if you're up by 35, 40, if it's crazy, please use common sense. These guys mean way too much to us and the league to be chasing stats the day before the trade deadline with players and all that. It's just no. I understand how much these tickets prices are worth, and it may make even more sense to try to stretch this out a couple more days because of it. I don't know, but all I'm saying is, let us use common sense as it pertains to injury concerns. Very, very common sense that I haven't seen displayed in situations, which is why I hold this type of concern as well. Please. That's all I'm saying. Just be mindful of the players' health. All right, so I'm going to take myself somewhere, get some woosahs in, maybe work out, listen to some music, calm down, get my mind right, deal with some things in my own personal life that would make it so that I'm doing all this today. But I'll tell you this. The Lakers are a great outlet, and I appreciate it, especially when it's played correctly, especially when it's being run right. And I think that this team is just one trade away, particularly extraction of certain players that can put it in a position to really do some good things in the playoffs. And that means we would get there. We would get there. And I just think we're a couple players, small ball players, extracted away from just playing enough Wenyen Gabriels, Max Christie's, maybe some Cole Swatter a little bit, some guys that we haven't played. Get them worked into the equation. Austin Reeves, get him back into it. I think we can do something, man, if we make a good trade here. So that's what I'm hopeful will happen, man. Let's get some expiring contracts out of here. Let's bring in some guys who can help us if we can with the second round picks, maybe even the first ones. But please improve this team for LeBron James before he skedaddles up out of here to Dallas or something like that and leaves us with nothing. But Anthony Davis looking probably elsewhere as well. That's pretty much what we're going to be left with. So get it right, Lakers. BDL44. I'll take you off watching.